3-1 action. Break the ice block and layer to reach the water that the starite is encased in ice under. The ground is stopping Maxwell from just surface swimming to the starite, but there's a trick we can do here. When you jump into the water or get pushed down by something, you have a small window of time to move before floating back up. This allows us to swim under the ground, and we can reach the starite without surfacing since the ground is blocking Maxwell. Just make sure to break the starite out in a spot you can immediately grab it before it sinks. Three, 2 action. The starite is attached to a rope that will fall into the lava if Maxwell triggers the tripwire, blocking the only path. Yeah, you kinda just walk forward, that's it. The no summon screen was loved or hated by commenters. As a compromise, I'm going to shorten it and add a new dancer for every 5 levels beaten without summons. From the first 2 worlds and the level just complete, that's 16 no summon clears so far. So, here's 3 new dancers on the house. 3-3 action. Dig or break ice spikes to reach a trap that will blow up the starite if triggered. We use a summon to break the ice spikes. The trap can be disarmed to the extent that the boulder won't trigger it by destroying the pieces carefully, but the exploding barrel will remain. Yeah. Maxwell's immune to explosions only sometimes. Just when he feels like it. I picked up the starite and that's why I didn't die. Three, 4 action. The lever that opens the gate to the starite also causes large spiked steel balls to float, blocking the way to a platform Maxwell can't get to without summons. Man, lying on the internet is so easy. What if I told you we secretly can beat this level without summons? What would you do in that scenario? Spike balls are spiky, so touching them damages you. I know, big surprise. However, if we slowly move into them, we can push them without taking damage, which is great because they kill Maxwell in just 2 hits. That's neat and all, but how does this help us? Well, it lets Maxwell push the first spiked ball to the next platform, then go back and turn the air vents off so the spiked balls fall to the ground. By turning the fans back on and running where the spike ball is about to be, we can use it as a platform to jump to the middle with only 1 instance of damage. To be frank, this usually doesn't work, and we'll need to get another lucky jump. Air vents are also pushing down from above Maxwell, so we'll need a perfectly arced jump to make it to the starite. But after a bunch of attempts, I finally did it. As this was another unexpected no summon clear, I just want to thank everyone for guessing how many levels I'd beat summonless in the first video. Feel free to change your guess. And as another engagement question, what's your go-to summon? Mine is Jetpack, as I said in the first video, since Flight is just overpowered. Three, 5 action. The starite is behind 2 gates. If Maxwell flips the lever on the left, it opens the gate to the right. If Maxwell flips the lever to the right, it opens the gate to the left. A hill blocks him from simply moving from one side to the other. Inside the gates are 2 red caps that will attack Maxwell. More importantly, a giant steel box is above the starite and is immune to most typical means of destroying things. My favorite solution is Black Hole. This pulls basically everything into it and destroys those things, then quickly disappears. We can use it to pull Maxwell up after flipping a lever to get to the other side. Pick it up before it despawns and use it to destroy the giant steel box. Three, 6 action. Pull a lever to prevent the starite from getting trapped below a gate that a tripwire triggers when it falls. It's attached to rope and an ice block that will fall by destroying the ice block that prevents Maxwell from reaching the starite. The lever is out of reach, but by dropping the item we used to destroy the ice block onto the tripwire before the starite falls, it'll get closed in on the same side as Maxwell. Three-7 action. The Starry is way up there, and Maxwell is way down there. It is with great pain I inform you that this is a nudging level. Three-8 action. Two large boulders block two paths. A digging path to the Starry or lava blocking a button. If Maxwell presses the button with an item while on the safe side, the gate opens to reveal the Starry, but prevents him from reaching it. Large boulders are immune to most damage, so this is the perfect level to use blowing items. Don't get too attached to these, there aren't many of them. We can use the fan to blow the boulder to the left, and at an angle we can jump over it. We can also use it as a small platform to get to the other side of the level. Something needs to be done about the lava pit in our way. But first, we pull an elemental away from the lava so we can stand there without it attacking us. Before using another item, there was a small glitch I wanted to try. Alright guys, I need you to believe in the heart of the cards. So you see that? It actually worked. I didn't think that would actually work. So what happened there, since that wasn't on screen, I should probably explain what I think happened at least. Like, when the gates, when the gate went back up, it pulled Maxwell up with it and shot him out of the gate, so it put me in the star, right? Three-9 action. A gate slowly opens after an oil lamp spawns a random creature to attack Maxwell. Sometimes it's a kitten, so it's an easy no summon clear. Three-10 action. Many enemies and hazards are encased in ice that block the path to the Starlight. The best path we can take without strong height gain items is straight, which forces us to fight a bat and a warrior. This makes it the first level a good weapon actually helps us with. Though even good weapons aren't that good, and Maxwell doesn't recover health over time. So after fighting the bat and breaking a path to the warrior, we usually summon a creature that's not strong but will distract the warrior while we attack him. Then, by detonating the mine, any small height gain item will give us enough height to get on top of the ice block and use it again to reach the Starlight. Three-11 action. An incredibly strange level where walking into the gates blocking the Starlight teleports Maxwell across the map, where he needs to deal with enemies that will attack him and prevent him from pulling levers with sheer damage or just knocking him away from pulling them. There are also some obstacles blocking the path, like an ice block and fire. Electricity is tempting, especially a cloud that also extinguishes fire, but we need all our electricity summons later. This is the perfect level to use people who spawn with weapons. I haven't addressed this yet, but some things summon other things or spawn with other items. I count these as unique objects since spawning is a different property. And by putting two separate sprites together, they are a different sprite. So even though we already use Spear, we can summon Warrior, who spawns holding a Spear. Here, it lets the friend attack some enemies that alone wouldn't kill Maxwell, but the damage from multiple enemies would. We make the sacrifice fight the Sultan and die fighting the powerful Behemoth. We can pick up their dropped weapon, even with Maxwell's god powers, to give it to him. This is important, because we first teleport to the Sultan, and even though they drop their weapon on death, it doesn't teleport with Maxwell despite him holding it. We need a weapon to break the ice block, but anything we summon won't attack it unprovoked. And ice doesn't do a great job at provoking. This is why we need our friend to die. Otherwise, they refuse to drop their weapon. We need to use a summon to get past the fire, and water items are pretty valuable, so we'll use vehicle teleporting again. This is a little tough since we need to teleport not directly into the middle of the fire or we'll die. But the large number of vehicles is better to use, so I'll happily take that risk on Maxwell's behalf. Use the weapon to break the wood. Depending on the weapon, you might have to drop it before falling down to the lever, since teleporting will cause some to break to the spikes from being dropped. Just make sure to catch the item midair, which isn't too bad since you can hold your stylus down instead of tapping to catch things. The behemoth is too powerful for most weapons to deal with, at least consistently, so just summon a useless person like one of the developers or something to distract it. Lastly, a dragon blocks the final lever. Some weapons can damage it by falling onto specific spots, but others can't as far as I can tell. In that case, one more sacrifice is in order. Karma will catch up to Maxwell if he doesn't pull that lever quickly though. That finally opens every gate to the Star Raid as a pacifist. I mean without reusing objects. Three-one puzzle. Give something to Santa that he likes but doesn't already have here. Another easy puzzle level to use bad summons like Elf. 3-2 puzzle. Power the car and bring it to the house. This is an interesting level. We have the option to use a valuable rope-like object instead of an electrical one, but hold your horses there. Calm down. I already mentioned that it's extremely inconsistent with what electric objects flip switches. One of the things that confuses me the most is that some electric objects like shock don't, despite very clearly being electricity. The weirder thing is summons like that actually fix the car. So we can use summons that are just electrical enough to fix the car, but not too electrical to flip switches. 3-3 puzzle. Feed the penguin the 3 smallest fish already in the level. Believe me, I tried summoning copies of them to feed it. Instead of using a bunch of swimming items, we chose to use food, since it lures the fish towards it and we're not going to run out of food summons. The only issue is we need to constantly pick it up with god powers and put it back down so it doesn't get eaten, but it works just fine. 3-4 puzzle. Scare all 3 kids. Most things that can be thrown work here, so it's not hard to terrorize these children. 3-5 puzzle. Bring the lamb back to the flock without using guns or bombs. The only reason you'd want to use those is for the wolf, but we can bait it into the water. Now we need the lamb to follow us or run away from us, and to make a platform for it to cross over the water. Most bridges in this game are very bad at their one job, so we were using boats instead. They were low enough for the wolf to attack us, so I pet him with them before using them. Then we just use a summon to lure the lamb or scare it away from us to complete the level. 3-6 puzzle. Warm the caveman and feed the omelet from the top egg on the map to him. Yes, unfortunately, the omelet only drops from the egg on the top and not the bottom left one. That makes this a nudging level that we also use bad fire summons on. Arsonist spawns with a match and attempts to eat the omelet. We can pick him up to force him to drop it and get a lucky bounce to have it fall down and complete the level with just them. 3-7 puzzle. Maxwell needs to get the cow out of the way of the cars so they can move, but he can't kill the cow or let the chef kill her. The chef has a butcher knife we can trade with a holdable summon. This lets us scare the cow so she runs away from us. Even without the knife, the cow will automatically run away from the chef, so we can't bring her that way. Instead, by making her run to the truck, she'll somehow be able to run under it. She'll get stuck by herself, so we'll also run under the truck to sandwich the cow between the car and the truck. The truck usually moves on its own without the cow in the way, but it got stuck on the cow, so we had to push all the cars with Maxwell's infinite strength to beat the level. However, I realized we could do even better. Cows make milk when you interact with them. We can pick it up and throw it at the cow to scare her without needing to give the chef a summon. "3-8 puzzle. Stop the boat from hitting the iceberg." The only other thing I can think of is like moving the iceberg out of the way. So Maxwell can like push icebergs, kinda. But we're too slow for that. Oh. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, yeah. So we take those. I don't know. "3-9 puzzle. Reunite the penguins, but don't hurt the whale." Fun fact, this is the first description of a level that I copied from the game, because it actually tells you exactly what you need to do. Most of them are vague or intentionally not helpful. The penguin we need to move is on a glacier that we can get Maxwell under by swimming into it. The penguin will fall off, resulting in a loss if we keep moving the glacier forward, so we need to jump into it to bounce the penguin up and keep them on while we move the glacier. So at least it's quick to few attempts. It's just knowing when to do that. You're home. Go. Alright, nice. Another easy. Not super easy, but not super hard. No object level. Let's go. "3-10 puzzle. Bring the oil lamp near the Sultan. Grabbing the lamp will cause the bridge we cross to disappear, and trying to jump across it will have air vents blow Maxwell down into the lava. He also needs something to get him down the platform with the lamp, since another air vent will trap him between 2 stalagmites. But my no summon senses are tingling. Pick up the oil lamp and do a perfect jump into the first stalagmite to push Maxwell down a little. The air vent will push him up again, but he'll have just enough room to hit the bottom of the second stalagmite, allowing him to fall to the ground. A double jump would have done the trick, but I've got a better one. The oil lamp has a genie inside it who will attack us if we pick it up. Drop it a safe distance near the lava so we can pick it up no matter where it falls, and once it's in the right spot, empty it, pick it up, and jump. The damage boost makes a jump strong enough to get to the other side safely. "3-11 puzzle. Bring the patient near the hospital on the top of the mountain." This is a fine level to use flying vehicles that have passenger seats to put the patient in the back and drive it with Maxwell to easily bring them to the hospital. But I need to save the rest of those vehicles for later. So it's time for some janky solutions. The jankiest of which was the tail sitter, a vertical vehicle without a passenger seat. Oh well, the patient can stand on the wings. If anything happens, they're going to the hospital anyway. For some reason, the patient kept walking off of the safety of the tail sitter. Oh, they are scared. Probably of me, though. We need to get the goat and polar bear out of the way so we can land without them interfering and keep making progress to the hospital. We ride the goat down first so we can bait the polar bear down, but on one run, something magical happened. They all got stuck on each other. They all got stuck. The goat helped, actually. The jank didn't stop there. You're fine, you're fine! Why are you afraid of me? Is it because of the murder? There we go, boys. Let's go. 4-1 action. 2 buttons on the ceiling open the gate to the starlight above Maxwell. This is just a bird plus nudging level. 4-2 action. Maxwell needs to get past multiple samurai, open a gate by getting a box off of a button, and put something back on the button to open the starlight gate. There's a wall we just can't make it over no matter what angle I try to jump at it from. The good news is the rest of the level would have been really annoying to beat without summons, since we need to get the box back on the button while the samurai tries to kill us, and then have enough health to get past 2 samurais guarding the starlight. I mean, I did it for footage anyway. Instead, we'll just use whatever we summoned for a little height to push the button, and try to get knocked through the leftmost samurai to grab the starlight. 4-3 action. Press buttons to open the gates. Some give you a path to cross the lava. The gray and red gates need to be opened to get the starlight on the other side. The green one stays on after the bird touches it once, so press it first. The gray one will only be open while the bird is touching the button, so put the bird next to the button and center the screen on Maxwell to get ready to jump. We need to make it up multiple high platforms to progress. I chose to use a vehicle plus a building again. After opening the red gate, place the building in the lava to use it as a platform before it gets destroyed to jump to the starlight. Most buildings don't work here due to being too small or like catching on fire, causing Maxwell to be knocked away from them. 4-4 action. Press the green button and dig to the starlight, or press the red button and go up a long gap to reach where it fell. I didn't do every level in a row to see where certain summons would be most useful, and by the time I came back to this level, I used literally every summon in the game that flies or gives Maxwell flight. This gap would take a bunch of items stacked on top of each other to reach. But I've got a better idea. We can place a big enough straight platform diagonally for the starlight to roll off of. Most platforms aren't the right size for just a slide to work, but Large Ice Layer can do this by itself. Other solutions required getting the slime out of the way with willing sacrifices and nudging the starlight just a bit thankfully, so it wouldn't just fall into the hole. The nudging items were usually needed again to get the starlight all the way down. 4-5 action. Dig to the starlight or go straight to it with a tripwire directly in the path, causing 2 spiked balls to fall, blocking Maxwell from the starlight. We can get in front of the first spiked ball easily, and push the second one without taking damage again by slowly walking into it. Unfortunately, the ceiling above us blocks Maxwell from just jumping to grab the starlight, and we don't get enough of a damage boost from the lava to reach it either. But the spiked ball slowly falling from the platform can cause it to bounce off the ground. A lucky bounce will make it break the rope. We can grab it before it's destroyed for a no summon clear. 4-6 action. Walking toward the starlight gate causes a giant crab to spawn and kill the samurais. The gate won't open until the crab dies. This crab has been alive for a few seconds, so it's extremely powerful, but we can just pick up a samurai's drop sword to kill it without summons. 4-7 action. Break the bridge and dig to the starlight, or deal with a gulper and swim to it with stalagmites blocking the path. The stalagmites require a weapon to cross, so we'll use the same weapon on the gulper. This gives us time to get Maxwell low enough from a jump to swim underground and break the stalagmites to grab the starlight. 4-8 action. dig and swim to the starlight behind fire, or get to a high platform and fight shamans to drop to the fire. We're going up with a height item and vehicle teleport. We can bait the shamans back down for the archaeologists to shoot them with their infinite ammo. After going back up, we reach the fire. We can't jump over it, but we can save a water summon here. Fire and campfire can both be destroyed by taking enough damage. So we give the archaeologist something to hold to steal the gun. The monkeys will rudely steal the gun that I stole fair and square, so the item I give the archaeologist is also something they'll try to steal to lure them away from the campfire. This allows us to grab the starlight. For 9 action. The starlight is behind a gate that a lever above Maxwell opens. When it's pulled, a spiked crusher will quickly fall down onto the starlight. You're supposed to reach it in time by digging a shortcut or using an electrical item to flip the switch so Maxwell can just walk to it. By the time I came back to this level, I was out of electrical objects, so I wanted to find a different solution. There are a few summons that can help us bypass gates. Freeze Ray is funny, but I already used it. This specific gate allows us to cheese it with structures that can only be placed in the ground and replace it. Structures like Pit are big enough for Maxwell to go under the gate, but need another item to give him enough height to grab the starlight. Tide Pool is too small for that, so we'll need to nudge the starlight to him. Or not. For 10 action. Maxwell races a leprechaun to the starlight. The leprechaun is faster, has a shorter path to the starlight, and even cheats by teleporting, so they'll reach it first without a summon, resulting in a loss. That didn't stop me from trying summonless though. The most promising strategy involved picking up the rock on the ground while running. We can't throw it whenever we want, we need to target something. By throwing it at a tree, it can fall down onto the leprechaun or starlight. But I could never get it to meaningfully impact anything. Even if we could somehow directly hit the leprechaun with the rock, it barely knocks them back. I was messing around with what I thought at the time were bad objects to try and trap the leprechaun in water structures, but to my surprise, this happened. Oh, he fell at him. Wait, why is he got... Alright, I mean that's one way to win a race, I guess. Just kill your opponent and then they probably can't run that far if they're dead. For 11 action. The direct path to the starlight triggers a tripwire that causes large boulders to block the path. Going around the long path won't trigger the tripwire, but will require summoning something that Maxwell can fly with. Large boulders can't be destroyed with the spiked balls, but there's potential for a solution without summoning if we can line everything up perfectly. The issue is that if any of the large boulders fall to the bottom right, we can never reach the starlight in that area. Our only way to manipulate their falling positions before they reach the ground and block the path is with the spiked ball. A perfectly timed jump will give it just enough speed and distance to wedge itself between the top boulder and bottom one, with enough room for Maxwell to fit between them. He can't get to the ground without manipulating the top boulder's position some more. He needs to move and jump to rotate it to the perfect shape so it moves enough to let him walk down with the spiked ball. Now the issue is that Maxwell needs to get past the spiked ball, but the ceiling prevents him from jumping over it without dying since he took damage from the initial jump into it. Remember how we can slowly walk into them? Well, we can make micro adjustments to walk on top of it for a while. But he will always slide back down to the left due to its shape. So instead, we need to set up a trick so precise I needed a save state for this to be realistically possible, especially considering the beginning of the level is so precise too. Push the spike ball near the throne. It needs to be in a perfect spot. Far enough away not to break the throne and fail the level, but close enough to fall onto the starlight. Keep jumping and slowly walking towards the starlight. Eventually, you'll die, but as long as you do so on the right side of the spiked ball, you'll fall onto the starlight. For 1 puzzle. Reunite the ugly duckling with the swans, but don't harm the cat. Thanks level, but I'd rather reunite the swans with the ugly duckling so I don't need a summon to gain height or bait it down. The cat wants to eat them, but things in your hand can't be eaten or eat, so it's no issue. For 2 puzzle. Color and art. We need to summon something the game considers art like a painting and summon something to color it. This even includes a pencil for an easy clear with bad summons. For 3 puzzle. Get the unicorn and druid near each other. We simply lure the unicorn down the hill with food since we can't control it while riding it. For 4 puzzle. Break all the valuables. The starlight spawns once the final valuable is broken and in a spot Maxwell can stand under. These 2 conditions make it the perfect level to use a freaking nuke, oh my god! Nuke and other similar summons destroy everything on screen, including Maxwell in that everything. So they are only useful in a level that Maxwell can grab the starlight before it ends due to his death. That is to say, pretty much just this one, use them all here. For 5 puzzle. Get the baby close to the king or queen. I use containers to carry the baby and get it over the small jump. Although I realized while scripting this, it would have been better to just attack the king or queen to make them run to the baby, which counts as a win once they're close. Still use containers though. For 6 puzzle. Put the corpse in an appropriate container and put it deep enough in the ground. Just containing the corpse isn't enough. It has to be put in the dirt after making a deep hole. Fortunately, we can use explosives as long as the radius is big enough, and only specific containers work. We don't need them anywhere else, so it's no issue. For 7 puzzle. Move the chariot all the way up the hill. Oh baby. You guys like Sisyphus? Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Uh-oh. After ramming my head into a wall, or rather chariot, for 20 minutes, I realized the best way to move it uphill was while it was upside down. So I brought the knight from the top of the hill down with me, since he'll follow me whenever I'm close to him. Bring him behind the chariot and start pushing it uphill. Once high enough up, jump over the chariot and push it over the knight so it falls over. We don't want him to attack the chariot, as he loves to do. It's his favorite thing actually, so bring him back to the top of the hill before pushing the chariot again. We can't push it from the back without dying to its javelin, so ride the chariot and dismount it to get behind the wheel. Now we can keep pushing and jumping into the wheel to push it up the hill no matter how steep it gets. Chat, how are we feeling about this? That? Oh my god. Why didn't Sisyphus just do that? Is he stupid? For 8 puzzle. Kill the 2 orcs and free the wizard from the cage. If the wizard dies, you lose. There's lava under the cage, which the wizard will fall into if we free them. For now, it helps us kill the orcs by luring them into it. We can potentially save needing another summon by shaking the cage when freeing the wizard. But even if we free them like this, the starite spawns on top of the platform we can't reach anymore. So of course I was looking for a potential no-summon solution. First, run into the orc and jump to damage boost all the way to the top of the cage. Jump while on the left corner of the cage and pick up the chain from the top. While falling, hold left to land back on the starting platform. Drop the cage so that it's a diagonal platform and jump from it to the other side of the lava with the second orc. After waking them up, we'll need an even more precise jump into a damage boost to get us back on top of the cage, and the orc will fall into the lava. I pull the cage up with me to safely free the wizard and grab the starite. For 9 puzzle. Get the knight and princess close to each other, but don't kill the witch. The knight can kill the behemoth by himself to open the path. But I was out of rope and flying summons to bring the knight or princess above the witch without her turning them into frogs and failing the level. I can bait the witch with food, but the princess is anchored to the tower, so she'll only move for more important things like a frog, which the witch loves to eat. That's her thing, she turns people into frogs, then she eats them. Some food, like apple, will lure the princess too. Give the apple to Maxwell once the witch falls down, so he can lure her without the threat of her eating it, and bring her close to the knight, but not too close where they fight. Now we can lure the princess down with the apple too. We still need to get the knight and princess near each other, but I've got a foolproof plan. Maxwell is immune to turning into a frog. Just one of his casual superpowers, put it on the list. So by standing between the witch and princess, he can slowly walk up to the knight. Be sure to grab the starite quickly because everyone will die. But hey, cool starite. Quick, show the list of summons I used. For 10 puzzle. Kill the enemies before they kill the royal family. We use creatures to solve this one. Same trick as before to give ours the advantage. For 11 puzzle. Get the king near the castle. He's trapped behind a gate that a dragon guards a switch to open. But before deciding on what to summon, let's look at every problem we have to solve. There are 2 campfires blocking the king's path he'll kind of just keep running into until death, requiring us to deal with them. The bridge to the castle is broken, so we'll need something that gets him to the castle, or interestingly, the king being under the castle spawns the starite 2 for another potential solution. The starite spawn is unfortunately all the way up near the castle, far enough for Maxwell to be unable to reach it without a summon. Most structures get destroyed after being in lava for a short amount of time. But for some reason, building does not, and is long enough to help us solve 2 of our 4 problems. We can jump on it after rotating it to lure the dragon into the lava and kill it. We can now flip the switch, but we need to deal with the campfires first. In the solution, I use Faucet, which is also a surprise tool that will help us later. After it puts the fires out, the king will move towards the castle. Without a bridge, he'll fall onto the building and spawn the starite due to being close enough to the castle. Now we need to nudge the starite, because of course we do, to beat the level. Alternate solutions are worth noting here, since all the structures I tested either weren't long enough or got destroyed by lava. As long as the structure doesn't catch on fire and is medium-sized, I could jump on it to lure the dragon over and quickly jump back and pick it up. After the dragon dies, put it back down to jump on it and to the other side of the lava. Pick it back up quickly again, and after using our water summon, use a new object type, glue. Since bridges are terrible in this game, and I use all the slightly less terrible ones in other level. I say level because there's only like 4 of them. Glue is basically rope but worse, since it sticks 2 objects together, but they can't move far from each other, and the hitboxes of items can make 2 items incompatible from being glued together. It's perfect here since we want the items close together so they can be used as a bridge for the king to safely get across. We'll be nudging again, but scary since we can potentially lose after a 5-minute nudge. As soon as the starlight falls down, jump into it to grab it. Even if it falls into the lava, the Starlight and Maxwell have enough health to give us time to get to it. (1-7) action. Again. I wanted to beat this level without an accidental double jump, and it's much tougher. The tornado won't push Maxwell up as quickly without jumping into it at the double jump's height. And after a while, it seemed like the tornado moves back to the left too fast for this to work. But I noticed something strange. When letting go of holding right and continuing to hold the jump button, Maxwell gets shot up the tornado extremely quickly. Don't worry, this isn't secretly a double jump since those can only be performed by letting go of a direction and jump and then pressing jump again. It's much more precise than what I was doing before, but it's just barely possible to perfectly time a jump into the tornado and get bonked into the upper right gap to beat this one without breaking my own rules. I love how even after already recording the rest of this challenge, I'm still learning new things about this game. Thanks for watching, and thanks for all the support on the first video. I'm glad people are liking the series, and I'm really excited to continue it. This video came out directly after the first part because people asked for it. So if you want to see part 3 sooner, let me know in the comments again. If nothing else, comments are just cool, I like them.